Hi, welcome to Training Talk. My name is John Cullen, and I'm your host for the weekly series here at the Institute of Police Technology and Management, as we offer you a look inside of different training tips, case studies, and some of the excellent classes we offer as we strive to train the next generation of law enforcement. At this time, I'm going to send you over to our subject matter expert who's going to share this week's weekly tip.
Hey everyone, my name is Rick Evans. I'm the course media developer here with IPTM, and today we are going to be talking about photography. Specifically, we're going to talk about the exposure triangle. All right, so what the exposure triangle is basically a way to look at the three main elements that help us create a digital image. And they are ISO, shutter speed, and aperture. Okay? Now, all three of these things work in conjunction to create a digital image. Okay? So, ISO is basically the sensitivity of the sensor in your camera, right? So, ISOs typically range from anywhere between about 100 at the lowest up to 52,000 ISO, right? For your purposes, mostly you want to try to stick as low as possible on your ISO so you don't introduce too much grain or digital noise into your photo so you can see all the details best. And the rule of thumb is typically if you're shooting outside in bright light, you can stick with ISO 100. Once you move indoors and the lights are a little bit dimmer than the bright sun, you might need to bump it up to maybe 200 or 400 ISO. You'll have to play with it to see. And if you're shooting at night, you're gonna have to shoot at 800, maybe even a little bit higher. But again, be careful because certain cameras can start to introduce a lot of noise, especially in the shadows and midtones, okay? So if you change your ISO, you're probably gonna have to change your shutter speed or aperture as well. And that's kind of why these things are all connected in the triangle. When you change one for a particular scene, you have to make sure that the other two are set properly, okay? So shutter speed, typically your shutter speeds for handheld photography are anywhere between 1/50th of a second and higher up to like 1/8000th of a second. Now that's super fast. You're probably going to have to shoot, like if you're shooting that high, you're outside and it's very bright. If you have to drop your shutter speed in a low light situation, I wouldn't go any lower than 1/50th if you're hand holding. If you need to go lower to allow that shutter to stay open to let more light in, make sure that you use a tripod because what'll happen is anything below about 1/50th, you might get a little motion blur because even though you feel like you're holding still, just breathing or slightly rocking back and forth can create blur, and that might ruin some of the details in your photos. So be aware of that. And I would say that if you need to pick a specific shutter speed for a specific reason, just make sure that your aperture and ISO, again, are set properly so that you're getting a nice exposure. Pay attention to that exposure meter in your viewfinder. Try to keep it right in the middle. That's basically giving you the best estimation that everything is exposed properly, right? So pay attention to your meter. That will help you sort of gauge things. Aperture. So aperture, typically lenses go anywhere between 1.4 up to, the highest or the highest aperture number that you'll probably typically see is about 22. And basically the smaller the number, the larger the opening of the aperture is. Now remember what aperture does is it is basically the hole in the back of the lens that's allowing light into the camera to hit the sensor. But it also really affects depth of field. And if you have a large crash scene, a traffic crash, and you need everything in that scene in focus, you're gonna need to pick a higher aperture, basically a larger number, to close down your aperture a little bit so that you can have more depth of field in that scene. Does that make sense? So if you are outside and you want to get that whole scene in focus, I would say you'd probably want to start at like f11, f16, something like that, and make sure that everything that you need in that photo is in focus. Now, when you do that, when you start to close down that aperture, you're letting less light in, which means you're going to have to drop your shutter speed a little bit or raise your ISO, okay? So when we change one of these things, it's very likely that we're going to have to at least monitor, if not adjust one or the other two. I would say try to stick with adjusting aperture and shutter speed as much as possible, and only adjust your ISO if you really need to, because again, this is going to affect the details and quality of the image more than these other two, okay? So hopefully that all makes sense. That's sort of how all three of these things relate to each other, and just keep these things in mind when you go out in the field and really just focus on what's most important for that particular circumstance. What do you need to use? Maybe you do want to use a smaller number aperture so that you can see just a little bit of detail. Maybe you want a shallow depth of field just to kind of blur everything out and have just a little bit of focus on a detailed element of the photo. You can do that. Just make sure that the other two are set properly as well, okay? So hopefully those help you. Keep these things in mind when you go out in the field to take photos, and best of luck out there. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Thanks for watching this week's Training Talk tip. We hope that you found this beneficial as you move forward in your investigations. Please be sure to comment if there's any future Training Talk tips that we could bring to you or areas of interest. And while doing so, we'd like you to follow us on all of our social media channels so that you can stay in tune with the latest training. While doing so, also check us out at IPTM.org, where we have a large catalog of courses that are offered throughout the country. And if there's not one nearby, perhaps reach out to us and we could bring the training to you. Again, we hope that you follow along, found this useful, and we look forward to seeing you next week.